The echoes of clinking glass from that evening still resonate in my mind, feeling like small mallets drumming against my chest. My father's words sliced through the air of the crowded bistro, sharp, calculated, and meant for an audience. "Sitting around in a bathrobe isn't a real profession," he proclaimed, standing tall like an actor on center stage. The group at the table erupted. Even my mother tried to mask her amusement behind her crystal flute of wine. I didn't offer a rebuttal or even a flinch. I simply stood up, pushed my chair back without a sound, and walked out of the building. Their booming laughter followed me out into the night like a trail of bitter exhaust. In that singular moment, a bridge within me collapsed, and a new strength took its place. My father, Marcus, hadn't always been the villain in my story. Once, I pursued his approval as if it were the only light in the world. He used to take me out on the lake at daybreak, preaching that a man should always look others in the eye and never disguise his true nature. I once held those words as gospel, but time changed me. I discovered a deep drive for creating things in the digital world. In the shadows, I constructed a global tech firm from the ground up, working in private with tireless dedication. Marcus had mocked it from the start. "Men of worth work with their muscles and sweat," he'd sneer, "not with that plastic keyboard garbage." Initially, his comments were just a nuisance. Then, they became a heavy weight. But that night at the restaurant, when he turned me into a punchline for the entertainment of others, the sting was real. That laughter wasn't just a joke, it was a total breach of trust. It was cold and sharp. Looking back, the omens of his bitterness were everywhere. I saw his jaw clench whenever I mentioned new partners. I saw the way his eyes narrowed when I spoke of a successful quarter. His hollow congratulations were always soaked in hidden spite. However, 48 hours after that dinner, I uncovered the true root of his anger. My uncle Silas called me with the truth. My father's civil engineering firm, his entire legacy and pride, was drowning. It was a disaster of unpaid debts, stalled builds, and a crumbling foundation hidden behind a wall of loud bravado. Suddenly, his cruelty made perfect sense. He wasn't truly amused by me. He was bleeding out and needed to make sure I felt the pain too. I sat in the stillness of my office after that call. I didn't feel rage or even pity, only a clear, cold understanding. For the first time, I didn't see a giant. I saw a man trapped by his own ego. My plan wasn't born from a desire for vengeance, at least not at the start. It came from the very survival skills he taught me during those early mornings on the lake. "Study the ripples," he'd say. "Don't strike until you're certain." So I began to dig, not to brag, but to prepare. I analyzed the market, quietly purchased a massive portion of his firm's debt from a bank that was looking to offload it, and secured the primary supply chain he relied on. I did it all under the name of my corporation, keeping my own identity hidden. There were no outbursts or warnings. It was pure strategy, carried out with the focus of a surgeon. Every move I made drew the circle tighter. I wasn't trying to destroy him. I was trying to force him to see reality. By the end of the second week, my hold on his future was absolute. Marcus had no clue that the hurricane looming over his life was a storm I had engineered. Then, the knock came at my door, a soft, hesitant sound I didn't recognize. My father had never known how to knock softly in his life. When I opened it, he looked diminished. His face was poorly shaven, his suit was rumpled, and his eyes were sunken with exhaustion. "Can we talk?" he asked quietly. I stepped back and let him enter. He paced through my home as if he were walking on another planet. It likely felt that way to him. He had never bothered to visit before. "I'm in a corner," he finally admitted. He laid out the truth about the unpaid loans, the failing sites, and the mysterious company that had bought out his contracts. His voice caught for a second, but he forced it down. "I need an out," he said. "A partner, a credit line, anything." His gaze finally met mine, and for the first time he wasn't looking down his nose at me. He was looking up from the bottom. I allowed the silence to fill the room. He took my quietness for doubt. Then, very slowly, I pushed a blue folder across the mahogany table. My name was at the bottom of every debt purchase, every contract, and every lifeline he had come to beg for. The color left his face, replaced by a sudden, crushing realization. "It was you," he whispered. I nodded, maintaining total composure. "This is the world my bathrobes built," I told him. He slumped into the sofa, his hands shaking. Decades of pride were folding in an instant. "I'm not interested in ruining you," I said firmly, "but I refuse to rescue the man who mocked my life's work. If you want my help, you have to own your actions." He didn't say a word for a long time, but eventually he signed the documents, giving me the majority share of his company. The very firm he once claimed I would never be man enough to understand was now under my control. That was several months ago. The business is healthy now, more efficient, smarter, and far more humble. Marcus still shows up every day, but he answers to me. We don't exchange many words during the workday. He avoids my eyes the way a survivor avoids the person who pulled them from the wreckage. But every so often, I notice him watching me. It isn't with anger anymore. It's with a genuine respect he never bothered to show before. It's remarkable how silence and precise action can achieve what shouting never could. Some people find the path through wisdom, while others have to feel the weight of their choices. My father needed the consequences, and I was finally the one to deliver them.